Hello, welcome back. Today we're in my living room. This is where I keep all of my books, so I thought I would share with you my top 5 favorite art instructional books for botanical art and natural science illustration. So here they all are. And I'm just going to go through these and share with you why I think they're the best. So when I'm choosing art books, I'm looking for 2 things. The first one is staying power, lasting power. So if I want to learn a very specific technique, I'm usually going to go for a blog post or a video like here on YouTube. But for the books that I keep at home, I want something that I can keep on referring to for years and years and years. So these books are all great for absolute beginners, but they have content that appeals to beginners, but they also have content that appeals to professional artists like me. And then the second thing that I look for in an art book is I want it to be absolutely visually stunning. I'm a visual person, so I'm all about the pretty pictures. I want there to be beautiful visual examples of the concepts discussed in the books. And again, all of these books do this very well. Down in the description, I am going to leave a link to my blog where I'll have a text version of this if you prefer to read your book reviews in text format. And I will also have links to all of the books that I am referencing here, Amazon affiliate links, so if you buy one of these books through one of my links, I will get a small kickback from Amazon, which is a great way to support this channel without giving me money directly. Now, if you would like to support me directly, I also have my Ko-fi account linked down below. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, coming in at number 5, so my 5th favorite from this list is Imaginative Realism by James Gurney. So I think that this book is super useful because it applies to any time that you want to create an illustration that you don't have an exact photo reference for or an exact object in front of you. So for example, right now I'm working on a bird illustration. So I have some robins, I have a robin's nest, I have a branch that it's all on, and I don't have a photo for all of these things together, nor do I have exact references for all of them. So I have to build a scene. And so this book gives advice on composition, on building maquettes, so models that you can light, how to manipulate lighting conditions in your scene. It is super useful. So I'm just gonna see how to do this. Show you some pages in here. Now, this is by James Gurney, who is the author of Dinotopia, and this book is largely based on world building and paleo art. So there's examples on how to create dinosaurs, which you obviously can't see, weird monsters, as well as fictional buildings and vehicles. So that sort of content isn't super applicable to me. However, a lot of the same concepts are. So I still reference this book even though it's a sort of different focus. Now, if you are into sort of fantasy art, creature building, world building, then this will be even better for you. So definitely keep that in mind. Coming in at number 2, I have the Law's Guide to Nature Drawing and Journaling. This is a great book if you're just getting started with drawing from nature. and it covers all sorts of different kinds of nature journaling and drawing. So whether you're interested in plants or fungi or animals, it's got a huge amount of content from, you know, advice on materials to step-by-step drawing tutorials for drawing, for example, birds, how to draw trees. It's written in a way that's very beginner friendly. I would actually recommend this book if you have a child who's interested in drawing from nature. It's super child friendly. However, because it covers such a wide range of different subjects in media, even if you are a professional artist, I still find that there's useful stuff in here that I don't know. For example, once again, I am doing a bird illustration that's very new to me, so I'm going to reference this. John Muir Laws also has a laws guide to drawing birds specifically, which I have ordered but haven't received yet. So that might get added to the list later on. I'm sorry. I've got a bit of a cold. My voice is a little ruined. Whew. Next we've got Botanical Sketchbook by Mary Ann Scott and Margaret Stevens through the Society of Botanical Artists. So this is based on a sketchbook that Mary Ann Scott created while doing the SBA diploma program. So when she starts out, she's fairly new to botanical art, but she puts in a whole lot of effort in learning how to create realistic renderings and subjects. So she goes from, when she starts out, you know, these are some of her early leaf drawings, which are, she has some early leaf illustrations, which are lovely, but a little bit more basic. And then as she goes on, she gets feedback from the tutors, which is included in here, and starts developing more complex leaves, other subjects. So, you know, she's painting fruit, and she's got graphite studies as well as color studies. She does her step-by-step. So each step of the way, there's information about her process, her sketches, her finished project, and any kind of feedback from the tutors. So I find it very inspirational as I'm learning new techniques, that it's clear to see her progression through all of these sketches, as well as some process in terms of creating compositions, little thumbnail sketches and stuff. So this is a great inspirational story, you know, ending in some really fantastic finished illustrations. So this is something that I really enjoy looking through and learning from. Coming in at number 2, I have Botany for the Artist by Sarah Simblet. So Sarah Simblet is a rather unique artist. She's not just a botanical artist. She does also do a number of other things. So she's also the author of Anatomy for the Artist and Sketchbook for the Artist in the same series, which are both great, great books as well. But as a botanical artist, this one's the most useful to me. And so she does a lot of very detailed ink illustrations, and I really love her work because even though she works primarily in ink and does these very detailed, intricate illustrations, you can still see this amazing movement in all of her work. That's something that's very inspirational for me, and so I find myself flipping through this book just to try to learn from that and capture that. So this book is very useful if you're a beginner. It just goes through different aspects of plant structure, different kinds of compound leaves, for example, on this page. So for a beginner botanical artist who doesn't really understand botany or plant structure, this is very useful. But it's also just, like, look at these images. They're just so alive. And so botanical art can sometimes suffer from looking a little stiff. And I think that Sarah Simblet's work really shows how to create botanical artwork that looks really alive. So I always find myself looking back to this as a reference just to try to learn how to create more lively compositions. She also works primarily in ink, which is really neat and uncommon for a botanical artist. So again, that's something that I have been very interested in. And now, finally, we're getting to my very top art book. And so there's no question about that. That's Color and Light by James Gurney. I refer to this constantly. And I think that it's useful not only for botanical artists or natural science artists, but really any artist can learn from this, whether you're doing portraits or fantasy art or what have you. In this book, James Gurney goes through a number of different lighting situations, from plein air to sunlight to weirder things like street lights, luminescence. So he'll go through how each of those lighting situations will affect your scene. He also goes into chroma and value, how to build the range of colors in your scene. There's advice on use of different pigments. How to arrange your palette. Now this is based on oil paint, but I think it applies to anything really. How colored light can affect how subjects look. Different color schemes, so triads, gamut masking. This book is just so in-depth about all the different color combinations and lighting, and how light can affect color and color can affect light. It's a very complicated subject, but this book really breaks it down into some really clear lessons. And so I've found that I've really improved by referencing this in terms of creating more interesting lighting in my scenes, creating more impactful color. I'm really thrilled with this book. I can't recommend it highly enough. So now I'm interested in what your favorite art books are. So let me know in the comments below whether your favorite art book is included in my list or whether you have some other suggestions for me. Just let me know. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell down below if you'd like to be notified when my next video comes out. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.